What has happened is that economic confidence has dropped. And one question that we have asked in the same way, both before and after the referendum, is whether or not Brexit will make you better or worse off. In May, 19% said it would make them worse off. By October, that had risen after the Marmite shock to 49%. Now, that doesn't mean to say that people are changing their minds about Brexit, but it does mean that they're a bit more pessimistic about the near term. Economic confidence has taken a bit of a knock. But they are, as we've seen so eloquently, completely divided, and education, of course, matters. I was wondering, Matthew, whether the gap in the difference between graduates in high skill and low skill areas was in part perhaps the nature of those graduates themselves in terms of their class and family background. Because if you're a working class graduate, does your class interest suddenly overtake or you're in a sort of very UKIP area? Does that try and change does that overweigh your experiences in higher education or something else? And I don't know if we've allowed for that. John, is that right or wrong?
Well, it could also do with the nature of the higher education. I mean,
yes.
I will make a guess that probably the graduates in Clacton are less likely to come from Russell Group universities than graduates in Lambeth.
So that's my point, and I think we need to be careful about whether or not there is an ecological fallacy here. I mean, the thing that always strikes, immediately afterwards we said, oh, well, Cambridge, Brighton, Oxford, London all voted Remain, etc. And of course, actually, as we've been seeing, it's more complicated than that. 40% of Londoners, of course, voting to leave. What I would say is that where we are now, though, there is an acceptance that Brexit is going to happen. We asked people last week what Parliament should now do if the Supreme Court throws out the government appeal. 44% said Parliament should simply vote on whether or not to trigger Article 50, which would be very hard, I think, for Parliament not to do so. Only 37% said vote on the actual detail of the negotiations, and 12% in that survey, unprompted out of sheer rage, given a bipolar choice between those two things, just said, just get on with it, don't have any vote in Parliament at all. And we weren't offering that as an alternative. But I think what this does all show is that things will not be settled. This is the anti-globalization, anti-elite, anti-immigration, and it certainly was an anti-immigration vote when you asked people to choose between immigration and the economy, and people remain completely split on that. None of that is going to heal anytime soon. And if we do face economic uncertainty, a bit of choppy water, that is going to be, I think, perhaps a challenge. So I'm looking forward to the Daily Mail making me feel much better about things. Thank you.